How you doing, Your Honor? My name is Van Terry. Wow, that's Shirley Terry. Right now, I guess we're supposed to, in our hearts, forgive this clown. Who's touched our families, taken my child.
To accept this free call,
Madison,
press
Michael
0.
Madison is calling.
To refuse this free call, hang up or
Cleveland
press
serial
1.
killer, Michael Madison.
Hello, this is a free call from
Madison.
Michael Madison.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hello.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Can I call you Mike? Can I call you Mike, or you like Michael?
No, Mike is cool.
Mike is cool. So I'm recording you.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure you know I'm recording you.
All right.
I always tell you when we're recording, it's always off the record unless I tell you. You come from Cleveland. I was raised in Cleveland. We're both from Cleveland. I was raised on the east side, so we both are very familiar with what it's like to live in Cleveland.
Right.
What was your early life? You were born in 77. You're a little bit younger than me. You were born in 77. What was your upbringing like? What was that like for you?
Complicated at best.
Would you say you had a great family and a great home and a great upbringing, or was it dysfunctional?
No, nothing great about nothing great about any of it.
What, were you abused? Were you molested? What happened that was bad?
Just the relationship, all ties, everything was bad for real. Like, I think at the time I didn't realize, how bad it was, because that's all I knew. You know what I'm saying? And didn't know any better.
Right.
You would see different, people's different situations and different households, but you're not really there enough to really get the gist of it all and the overall outlook. And then you would see shit on TV, but even still, it's just TV. So at the time, all I know is my mother and my brother, and then whatever she brought to the table, or whoever she brought into our home, or she pretty much had control of it all. So it was all about what she brought to the table.
She did some things. I remember just vaguely you and I talked when I was with you on death row, and she would do things like cut your tennis shoes and stuff. Some pretty weird stuff, right? When you were growing up?
Yeah. Weird shit. Like, we grew up, getting ass whoopings or whatever, but, that it was particular times, when I got older where, I don't know, looking back on it, she was more of a bully. It wasn't like parents, and it was like she was a bully. Because then once we got to a certain size, she just took on different tactics. But looking back on it, it seemed to always be about tearing down, self-pride, and, if you had like any type of confidence or building up confidence or, self-esteem, it was shit like that kind of, like, tearing down shit like that. That was worse. That was worse than the ass whoopings.
And have you ever laid in bed at night and just thought about like, how did I end up here? Like, how do I go from a bouncing baby boy to sitting here on death row? How in the hell did that happen?
Oh, I mean, it's a lot of things that went into it. Like at different times I get, I had different aspects, but like I say, it's a lot that went into it.
A lot. It's complicated.
If she would have, say what?
It's complicated.
Yeah. Because it's like, you got those who, was in foster homes or whatever, or people, like I even thought of that, like if like when the state took me away from her, and they'd have never gave me back, it's not no guarantee that things would have been better for me for it. But at the same time, I feel like I probably would have had a better chance of making it, because you're not getting, like in a foster home, you're not getting tore down by somebody that you love, and somebody that your mother, that she mean the world to you. You know what I'm saying? And I never even met my father, so I didn't really look to any male, or I didn't look to any male as a role model. I didn't look up to any male or nothing. So it was just her.
So
you don't know at the time.
You really didn't have
no better.
You really didn't have a father in your life.
No, I didn't. I wasn't looking for one either.
Okay.
Like it never bothered me. Even now looking back on it all, it never bothered me that a male, role model or a father wasn't around.
Did you start to get involved in drugs? Looks like you had some convictions before you got sent to prison for drugs.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Looks like you had a drug conviction in 2000, 2001, and a rape conviction in 2002. Does that sound right?
Right.
So you were registered.
Tomato.
Go ahead.
Tomato on the rape thing. On the rape thing, it was an attempted rape.
Okay, Mike, I have the photos here with me of the 3 women that you're convicted of. You're in prison over these 3 females. You're in prison for 3 murders, and I figured you were okay talking about what you're convicted of. So you're in prison for 3 murders.
Right.
Your case your case was kind of famous because you were at trial, and one of the relatives of one of the victims kind of like went after you in the courtroom, and that kind of got a lot of play. What was that like?
Funny? No, funny, hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
He was about ready to give like a story, his statement, and then he,
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
And he thought you were maybe smiling or something, and he came after you, right?
Yeah, because he had this, I guess you want to call it a mean mug on his face, and he just looked funny to me.
Yeah. Did you?
I don't force like humor or me laughing. It's never forced. I only laugh at shit that's funny.
And it made you laugh.
Yeah.
Did you have any?
Because it was plenty of times. It was plenty of times when I was sitting there, during the time when I had the suit on. There was plenty of times.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Then it was times when anybody could have came and jumped over the table, but he chose to wait until I was shackled and handcuffed to pull the stunt. So yeah, fucking hilarious.
So your call is going to run out. Are you able to call me back, Mike, or not?
At 3:10, about 3:10.
All right, I'm just going to pause this and have you call back at 3:10. We'll pick up right here where we're at, okay?
All right.
All right, thanks. We're talking about Michael Madison today. We're waiting for him to call back, and Michael Madison is a serial killer from Cleveland, and which is close to home for me. That's my hometown, and I'm always intrigued with the guys that are from Cleveland. Michael Madison became famous when he was laughing and smiling at one of the victim's fathers during the trial. He was making a statement, a victim impact statement, and he went airborne and dove after Madison. And this is what that looked like.
How you doing, Don? My name is Van Terry. Wow, that's really Terry. Right now, I guess we're supposed to, in our hearts, forgive this clown. Who's touched our families, taken my child.
know, that made it made national news. Michael Madison's in the midst of a appeal, so he doesn't want to talk about his crimes.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hey,
Hello.
Mike. Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, so how long? We got another 10-minute call?
I'm not even sure. You would know. I don't know.
I think it's 10 minutes.
Like,
Yeah. So let's get right to it. Mike, you have an appeal you're working on right now. You still have an appeal, correct?
right.
So that's the reason you don't want to talk about the case, because you're still working on an appeal. Is that correct?
No, I just don't see any reason. It ain't even really so much the appeal. I don't know. I just don't really care to talk about it.
Are you interested in talking about unsolved cases someday?
Oh no, anything that they ain't get me for, that should have died with me.
That's it. No talking. No more talking.
No, I mean, like the saying say, let a lion dog lay.
Okay. How is death row for you, Mike? What is it like being on Ohio's death row? What is that like?
Well, I don't really know. I don't really have any words. Like, I don't really have anything to. I don't really have a way to put this into words. I just look at it as it is what it is.
You accept your situation?
I think it's all a state of mind. It's all in how you view it. You can make it.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
It can wear on you mentally if you let it, but it's all about keeping and having a peace of mind right now.
What do you do to pass the time?
It varies from TV to making me something to eat to, calisthenics. It just varies. Reading.
Okay.
It varies.
Are you locked in your cell a lot, or do you get out a lot?
I come out sometimes, but nowadays I try to be in the cell as much as possible. I don't really like dealing with others all like that. Okay.
And Mike, what do you think? You've killed 3 people with the cooling off period, so technically you're a serial killer. What is that? How does that affect you when you realize, you're a serial killer? What is that like?
I pass on that question.
Okay. Since you've been in prison, your mother was killed by a relative, which is a shocker.
It's not a relative of mine. It's a relative of my kids, but not a relative of mine.
Okay, so your mother was killed by an 18-year-old boy, an 18-year-old male, right?
A case that has haunted Northeast Ohio is back in the spotlight tonight. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Lena Lai. An 18-year-old is now accused of stabbing a 62-year-old woman and 3 kids on Cleveland's east side. Channel 3's Ray Strickland now on the link between this case and a serial killer on death row.
It happened around 12:15 midnight on Chickasaw Avenue. That's when Cleveland police say 18-year-old Jalen Plummer went on a rampage, stabbing 3 kids, a 12-year-old boy and 2 10-year-old girls multiple times while they were sleeping. The girls managed to get away calling 911 at a neighbor's house, but when police arrived, 62-year-old Diane Madison was pronounced dead at the scene. Police arresting Plummer soon after.
Was never any trouble.
Timothy Galaski says he prayed when he first heard the news, shocked because he says Madison never bothered anyone.
She was a very quiet, peaceful lady, kept to herself.
But Galaski also says this brought back memories.
And it made me think back to her son and the whole thing that she had gone through.
He says her son is notorious serial killer Michael Madison. East Cleveland police confirmed this is the same house where Michael was arrested back in 2013. Later sentenced to death after a jury found him guilty in the murders of 3 women in East Cleveland. At the time, his lawyers blaming childhood abuse by the hands of his mother Diane, describing him as a man living in torment, ultimately not guilty for the crime prosecutors said he committed.
It is sad.
As for Diane's death. Neighbors say she didn't deserve it.
It just makes you wonder, what was he thinking and what was the motive and what was his mindset and why.
While police investigate, this neighborhood is left wanting answers after painful memories from the past are brought back to the minds of so many.
The 3 kids who were stabbed in this attack were transported to an area hospital and are expected to survive. The suspect, 18-year-old Jalen Plummer, again is in police custody, but as of now, Lena, charges have yet to be released.
All right, we'll keep following it. Thanks so much, Ray.
Right.
Was he related to your mother?
No, he wasn't related to my mother.
Okay, I didn't know if he was a grandson or what.
No.
Is he been processed and in prison yet, or is he still waiting for trial?
No, I think he's still waiting for trial.
Okay. What is your thoughts on that? I mean, what do you have to say about that? Your mother was murdered. That's
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. I have mixed feelings about it. Sometimes, most of the time, it's just, like it is what it is. It's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Then other times it's like, I don't know. I don't really know how to put that into words. It just, It is what it is.
Are you remorseful for your crimes that you've committed?
No.
So you're not remorseful, which I hear a lot from people that I talk to. You've been compared a lot to a guy named Anthony Sowell, and Anthony Sowell just passed away on death row last week. A couple questions about him. So some people, and I don't know if I agree with this, Mike, but some people were saying like you were inspired by Anthony Sowell. And I think you and I talked about that before, and you didn't think that was true.
No, because nothing is original. Nothing that any of us do is original. Nothing from our lifetime is original. So the whole thing with me being inspired with somebody, that was a stack of shit.
Mm-hmm. Was Sowell already in prison when you were arrested?
I think so, I guess.
Okay. So there was some people in the media were like, you saw his case and you were inspired, but you and I talked about that and you said that wasn't true, right?
No, I'm not. I've never been inspired by anybody.
But you guys were in the same prison, and you're both from Cleveland. Did you ever talk to him? Did you guys ever chat? Did you know him at all?
I talked to him from time to time.
What was he like?
He was all right.
He went by the moniker the Cleveland Strangler. Was he violent? Was he a normal guy? What was he like?
No, he was all right. He wasn't violent. He was all right. Kind of funny, if you ask me.
Were you surprised? Were you shocked when he died?
No, not at all.
You weren't?
That's the only thing that's guaranteed in life is death. That's it. So at some point, we all got to go.
Do you get a lot of mail, Mike, and visits and phone calls and all that?
I used to, but I don't know. I don't really care to deal with.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
People tend to have their own ulterior motives. And after a while, I started to pick up on certain shit, and then, shit can be sold, and I ain't really for helping somebody else make $1
right
off of my name.
Right.
So I kind of killed that too.
So you just decide you pretty much don't communicate too much with people out there.
Right.
What was it like?
I mean, I have from time to time, but then, I done met some people that, was kind of like self-righteous, but then they turn out and sound to be crazier than what they expect me to be.
Right. What was it like living in Cleveland? Our hometown. What was it like living in Cleveland?
I love the city. I love the city. It's just, but looking at it all now, it's just the fucked up city. It's hard to really, excel and and become what I wanted to become in that city.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like no wonder that anybody that really makes it, they makes it after they leave Cleveland.
Yeah. And
A lot of people.
Were you a fan of sports? Like, were you a fan of the Cleveland Browns and stuff like that? The Cavaliers?
Yeah. Still a fan of the Browns. Yeah.
Big fan of the Browns?
Big time.
Big fan of the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone if you had a chance to talk to a young buck, 18, 16, 17-year-old who wanted to follow in your footsteps, and he said he say prison's cool, I'm looking forward to it. What would you say to somebody that wanted to follow in your footsteps and end up in prison like you?
Oh man, I don't know. Long as it's not my child, anything I would tell a person, you got to do what makes you happy in life. It don't matter, like, whatever, like, looking back on it, I was chasing happiness, and
You have 1 minute remaining.
what made me happy was taken from me. So I guess I was just chasing a ghost.
Really?
Yeah, that's another story, but yeah, you gotta do whatever makes you happy,
Okay.
no matter what it is. Because at the end of the day, that's what.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Yeah, can't put a price on happiness.
All right, Mike. Well, I will send you an email. You and I will get we'll connect up. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much, and be safe in there, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Keep your head up, Mr. Madison.
Got it.
All right, man.